Staff, headed by a competent physician. Dr. Jamal Lewin is referred to a list of many years' experience. He listens and he cares.
To the organizations in which you had infiltrated yourself, that you were living on an $800 a week stipend or on an $800 a week standard of living, when most of them were living hand to mouth.
Well, hey, brother, I'm hustling, I mean, hey, man, sell a little this on the side, a little that on the side, I get over, that kind of thing. In other words, ain't nobody's business but mine where I get the money. So, everybody took it for granted that I was possibly doing a little dealing on the side. That kind of thing. Then also, everybody liked me for the simple reason that I would do things that I didn't have to do. I would go out of my way. Like Mafundi would have a pageant and they needed someone to do the sound setup for him. And I'd say, of course, I'll do it for you. That kind of thing. I was very well liked at one time in this community.
Would you say to American citizens that this situation of surveillance and infiltration continues to this day?
Oh, yeah.
On the dimension that you experience?
Probably much larger than now.
Larger?
Oh, yeah. Let me put it to you like this. Each year, everything gradually escalated up more and more. So I figured when I left, it didn't stop escalating. As they say, one monkey does not stop anybody's show.
You mentioned Sammy Davis Jr., who at one time, it was reported, gave money to the Black Panther Party, I believe. Were you ever assigned to look into that?
Yes, I was told to try to get as close to Mr. Davis or to anyone in his office as I could. I used to go up and have real chit-chat, chummy conversations with his personal secretary, Ann, at the 9000 building on Sunset. And I used to bring a Portapax video camera. And I used to go around and I would videotape the whole office.
You mean celebrities would be coming into his office and you filmed them freely?
Oh, yeah.
Did they question them?
I'm from the Rock Riders Workshop. Yeah, right on, brother. That kind of thing. No questions there. Same thing with the NAACP Image Award. They were very interested in people like Sammy Davis Jr. There was another black in Los Angeles that they were very interested in because, not Los Angeles, but in Sacramento, Nathaniel Collins. He was attorney for the NAACP. And I know that. And they wanted information on him. Just for the simple reason that he's an attorney for the NAACP. Which makes no sense to me, but must make a lot of sense to them because they use the information.
You've been called upon to testify in Washington. Before who?
Before the Senate Committee. I was called first to testify before the Church Committee. And I did go to Washington, D.C. I did testify to those people. And I want to say right now that the committee was full of snacks. They got loads and loads of information. Didn't even use it. Didn't release it. I had tapes that I offered to them in evidence against the Federal Bureau of Investigation with conversations with me and my supervising officer where he's telling me to obtain certain articles on him by stealing. Don't get fingerprints on it. We can really use that. Did you take the weapons over to such and such? The Church Committee told me that they couldn't use the tapes because the tapes were gotten by illegal means.
What would you say about the composition of the committee panel of questions?
I can say that for the birds too, because the same people that I was talking about were the same people on the panel with the Church's committee.
What do you mean?
When I came in the room to be interviewed by the so-called people from the Church's committee, the representatives from the Federal Bureau of Investigations were also in the room.
FBI agents were a member of the Church Committee panel.
They were there with the investigators for the Church's committee asking questions just like the Church's committee. And see, this is another thing that I find fault with, and this is another reason why I am not going to Washington, D.C., is that again. I have been asked to come again for the second time, and I'm not going again. For the simple reasons that when I went up there with the idea that there were agencies investigating the Federal Bureau of Investigation, not the Federal Bureau of Investigation investigating itself.